Hey there, and welcome to Browser Basics. In this video, we want to just cover a few topics related to browsing and using the internet that we want our users to be comfortable with. So let's get started. The first are browsers. And what is a browser? A browser is simply a program used to access the internet. If you look down here at the bottom left, I've got icons for the four most common browsers: Google Chrome, Mozilla Firefox, Safari, and Internet Explorer. If you use the internet at all, chances are you probably use one of those four browsers. And so first, let me talk to our Health Fusion users. It's important for you guys to know that Internet Explorer is not a supported browser for Health Fusion. Also, on the iPad, Safari, which is native to the iPad, is the only supported browser by Health Fusion on the iPad. Okay, now let's talk about tabs and windows. I'm going to go ahead and open Google Chrome. A common feature among many browsers are tabs. You'll notice at the top I can open a new tab in Chrome by clicking this little button. It allows me to open another web page besides the one I was on previously, and I actually have both these open simultaneously at the same time inside the same window. You can have just about as many tabs as you want open at any given time in a browser. And again, this is a common theme among many browsers. Whenever you're ready to close a particular tab, you'll just want to hit the X inside of that tab. That will close only that tab. If, however, you wanted to close all tabs for a particular browser, you can hit the red X at the top right corner. That again will close all tabs in that window. And that's tabs. Let's talk about windows. Windows are another way you can have multiple web pages open at the same time. However, it looks different and they're displayed differently. I'm going to right click to open a new window here of Google Chrome. And again, you can see that I have two different windows open of Google Chrome at the same time. I can tell that because at the bottom my icon appears as though it's stacked on top of itself. There are two windows, and if I hover over it, I get options to choose which window I'd like to view. Your machine may display these differently depending on the settings, and instead of stacking them here as mine has, it may display them side by side with actually two Google Chrome icons right next to each other. Either way, it's trying to tell you you have two windows open at the same time. And what's important to know about tabs and windows, most of all, is that sometimes you can open them and have several open and not realize it. This commonly occurs when clicking on a link or a hyperlink inside of a web page. Very commonly, anytime you click a link or hyperlink, it will open the web address in a new tab or window. That's a common feature across the internet in general, not just Health Fusion. The reason this matters so much for our Health Fusion users is that Health Fusion, in order to stay HIPAA compliant, has a timeout feature built into it, so that if it detects your inactivity for a certain period of time, it will automatically log you out. If you have multiple tabs or windows open of Health Fusion, even though you may be currently working in one of them, you can actually become timed out for your login on one of the other inactive tabs or windows. So that you may be currently working in Health Fusion and not realize it, and all of a sudden you may get some glitch or inactivity whenever you click something, or you may just get kicked to the logout screen. If that ever happens, the first thing I would advise our users to check for is to make sure they don't have any other tabs or windows open and not realize it. And also, it's just important to know that so that as you're using the program, you can actually manage that as you go. So be aware, again, you can time out on a tab you're not using. And that about covers tabs and windows. Let's talk about downloading files. Because sometimes it's necessary to download a file when using Health Fusion, it's important that you make sure you understand how files are downloaded and where they're saved to, and how to access them for the specific browser that you are using. Based on which browser you use and the settings currently set for that browser, they can handle downloading a file differently. For example, when you click to download a file, your browser may ask you if you're sure if you want to save it, and then again may ask you where to save it. Or, as you can see in this example, when I click download, my browser saves it automatically and displays the downloaded file in the bottom left. Once you actually do download the file, it may not display anywhere on this window, so you'll need to know how to find it and access that file once it is downloaded. Again, it's just important that you understand how files are downloaded, where they're saved to, and how to access them once they are downloaded for the specific device you're using, because they all behave differently. The last topic we need to talk about in relation to downloads are PHI. Another thing to consider about downloading files is not just that you know where they're saved, but that you also are following guidelines established by your system or practice administrator regarding where the files are saved, when they're deleted, things of that nature. Again, because some files may contain PHI, it's important to guard against creating a security risk. You want to make sure you follow those guidelines established by your system or practice administrator as to how to handle files containing PHI. If you have any questions, you should ask them and they should be able to direct you as to what to do. And that's it for part 1 of our Browser Basics videos. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you over in part 2.